welcome to Something or Nothing. This is Tranquil, your girl. It's been a minute. We're so sorry. Life be hectic, but we're here to grace you with our beautiful faces and our wonderful presence. Thank you so much. I can't say that I've been doing much. I've been vegging, so I'm going to kick it over to Kuya to let you know how he's been doing.
Yes. Well, great to see you, Tranquil. Great to see you, Rue. Just doing what I do, man. Handling business, keeping busy, craziness. Life is blessed, life is good. A lot of stuff popping. Trying to figure out offhand. I did some interviews with with some other podcasts I was a guest on. So look for that. So follow me and we'll give that on our socials later on. But so that's popping. So I'm blessed to, you know, not always have to do the talking myself. I can talk to other people about shit. So that's dropping and just a lot of cool stuff. As of this recording, Black Widow's getting ready to drop. Me and my boy Glenn got an advanced look and we did a review. So that's going to be out and available on the channel. More show popping. We recorded our 50th episode. I'm already like 6 episodes past it now recorded. So it's been dope and more on the way, more booked all the way to the end of October, which is crazy.
Nice.
So show the Filipino, shout out to all my Pinoys out there, man. The love has been just wonderful. Y'all, I love y'all so much. Mahakita, thank you for coming through. I don't have to do any work. Like I don't have to really book it because it books itself. So that just is because it's community love. So man, just a blessing, man. And just living life, man. Missing these two folks up on the screen right now. Just because we haven't done this a while. So I'm excited and I'm hoping we can do more of this and we can get just on track with just dropping more and hopefully bring in some fun other guests that I don't normally rock with on other shows to just have some more fun conversation, different conversations. So, yeah, excited. What's up with you, Roof?
Hello, what's going on? I am chilling, man. Good to see y'all as always. I miss you guys immensely when we don't do our regular get together. But man, just trying to like get this regular work life going on. Had this whole year off, kind of just getting right back into. But it's different now. It's not even 40-hour weeks. I'm doing 60 plus.
That's
So it's like
crazy.
this overtime is just like destroying me, but at the same time, like I know it's building me for greater things. It's making me, putting in this work and this grind right now to like, it's all gonna work out later. And I try and muster up all the energy I got so I can make sure that I'm right on it for y'all and that it's gonna be a good show and we're gonna have good conversations. So I'm hyped. I'm always hyped to see you guys. It's always a breath of fresh air.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So super
But
excited,
that's
man,
about
that we
it.
are all back.
Hmm.
We got some topics.
Yeah.
Let's start it off with yours, Anita. I I want to get that one out the way because that's going to be a little bit of controversy.
I, I,
You and I kind of had a little convo in the car about it.
a little bit,
Um,
yeah. So, all
so
right, I'll
let's
break
get
it
into
up.
it.
I'll
Why
start
don't you
off.
start off with what went down, and
Okay.
then what kind of transpired in between, and then kind of where it's at, and then we'll add to it. You know what I'm saying?
All
Let's
right.
walk them through
Absolutely.
it because I don't think Rue. I think Rue knows what's up, but when we
I have
started,
no
he said
idea
he
what this
isn't
is.
familiar. But
No, no
I have
idea.
no
Okay.
idea
I
what's
think he
going
will
on.
be. I think he will be once you
Okay.
find out.
Okay.
All right. So as we all know, we lost Chadwick Boseman last year. And last year on top of like the panorama and everything else that was going on, a lot of people weren't thinking about like what's next for Black Panther. But now, new year, the world's opening up. It's been announced that they started filming. There has been a build up to this filming that has been a little bit controversial, and that is Kevin Feige a few months ago released, how they do the statements, they show you what's slated to come out. And he was like, well, as of right now, like we're not recasting T'Challa's character in Black Panther. And at the time, everybody was like, of course not, Chadwick forever, all of that. But now that like time has passed, we kind of realize that that's not the best idea. And there's a lot of pushback to recast his character in the Black Panther franchise. And I am 100% in that camp. So my question to you two, just like a out of the gate question: do you want to see T'Challa, Black Panther recasted?
I mean, I wouldn't. it would just have to make sense. It would literally have to like be one like hell of a cast member to actually like replace. That's really high, and also I still do feel like it's kind of soon. It's only not even really been a year,
Mhm.
and I was kind of hoping that they would actually like take this time in the new Disney Plus shows to kind of write a reason why there is no T'Challa anymore, but still have a movie because obviously like there's gonna be a Black Panther too, but I don't know. It's a really like I feel like it's a t- I- like I said, it just had to be a really hell of a cast member to like replace him.
What do you think about Kuya? What do you think?
Yo, I had to give a note real quick to Rue because we couldn't hear him. So yeah, my bad. Yeah, it just was kind of hard hearing, at least on my end.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just couldn't barely hear you. So I switched the view to 3-shot instead of singular. Anyway, yeah. So housekeeping, y'all know how it is with podcasts, whatever. So this one was difficult, and that's why I wanted I needed to kick it off, Tranquil, because we all love Chadwick. I love Chadwick. Chadwick is a great actor, a great human being. He killed the role as Black Panther. I absolutely loved it. Just like I loved Christopher Reeve, who will always be Superman to me. He killed it. And I had to say, when Tobey Maguire had Spider-Man initially with the first Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, I thought he was outstanding. I couldn't see anybody else in that role. But, actors move on from roles, and as much as I love Chadwick, I think the role is greater than the person. You know what I'm saying? If we had this same ideology for like Superman throughout the years, Christopher Reeve would have never had Superman if they only thought of I can't remember the name of the actor who originally played it in like the black and white serials back in the day. Mm-hmm. Then we would have never had future Superman films. You know what I'm saying? And that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with Spider-Man. If we were only going to have Tobey Maguire be Spider-Man all the time, we would have never had the amazing Tom Holland. You know what I'm saying?
Or the
and right before him, we had Andrew Garfield.
Who had the
and Andrew Garfield, I kind of, felt him in a way too. You know what I'm saying? So
that wasn't his fault. Characters. They weren't great, but that wasn't his fault. I can tell you that much.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying there's certain roles, as an actor myself, as a filmmaker and as a creator of content and, and characters, you have to separate those facts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, Patrick Stewart will always be Professor X. Hugh Jackman will always be Wolverine, but they have to move on, and these characters still need to exist for the next generation. And when I was talking with Tranquil about this, I feel so sad that, Kevin Feige and the rest of Marvel made this decision to move on with the next Black Panther and kind of phase him out. We don't know how it's going to be done. We don't still technically know if it is being done, but they are filming it right now. And the rumor has, and as Tranquil said, that they aren't going to, have him be there. So it just tells me that, you could kind of just surmise that they're going to kind of kill him off in a way or do something different. And which makes me very sad because we know how they plan out these Marvel films. They plan these out year after year, like it's 10 years essentially. It's a 10-year plan or a 5-year plan, 7-year plan for all of these Marvel movies. We've already seen it because we've all lived through it. We've lived through I think it's 4 cinematic phases that we had of
them. We're on the 4th cinematic phase.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So these are all planned out years in the making. And if you're going to take away Black Panther now with the next film, we're not going to see him for another decade. A male Black Panther, unless they get rebooted again, and with Marvel's track record, they don't need a reboot. You know what I'm saying?
Don't reboot. So not even that they
forever or never on a T'Challa Black Panther, which is very, very sad. And to me, takes away for as a POC, as seeing a main superhero of color. Black Panther was kind of like the figurehead. We all have to admit it. For me, all of us, you don't have to be African American to not see that. You don't have to be Black to see that. As an Asian, I'm really looking forward to Shang-Chi dropping very soon. And to me, that's going to be amazing. But then, I don't want to see anything happen to Simu Liu, but when you take away a figurehead like that and you're and you're gonna change it for like a whole decade, and people need that representation. You know what I'm saying?
For
I
sure.
love Chadwick Boseman. He was a great human being, but you know, there's just a greater, you know, it's just the character is greater than the person, and it's a figurehead for a generation that you're taking away. So that's my thoughts on it. It's difficult, and I know because I am a comic fan and comic historian. I know Shuri was the Black Panther at one time, but then it went right back to T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? And there's been different iterations and different storylines. But this is a character that has always existed, and I'm very, very sad if that's what they're gonna do. That again, like I said, a generation, you know, we're gonna lose that for a while.
Yeah, and like I want to touch on what you said, Rue, about it being like a heavy mantle, or like, you know, it's definitely going to have to be somebody, you know, very talented, but Marvel doesn't miss in casting. So that is the least of my concerns in terms of they're able to find someone else. And I also think when you think, and I don't think anyone's intentionally doing it, but when you think of actors that way, you're also harming actors. You're saying to other actors that you cannot be as good as this actor. There's no other actor that can fill this role. It's not a real character either. This role can never be done. There's no one as good as. And I think that's extremely damaging for actors, period.
Yeah.
And you know, but especially so since this is the first you know, African hero, you know, leading hero. He wasn't a sidekick first and then became a hero. You know, he is a hero in his own right. He didn't take anybody else's mantle. It's his mantle. And he was introduced in the Fantastic Four, which is slated to come out very soon. So to not to have T'Challa, it's you can already see where the threads are starting to break if he's not there, at least in my mind. And with Endgame, I think it's a lot of expectations and I understand the emotional component, but I couldn't imagine not getting Heath Ledger because Nicholson didn't want somebody to play Joker anymore, or Joaquin because real world example passed away. We've had 2 Jokers since then. We had Leto and Joaquin. Right. You couldn't tell me that there is ever any conversation about someone saying, we're just not doing Joker anymore. People would laugh you out of the room. They would laugh you out of the room. You would end Batman because Batman needs the Joker.
Yo, I totally forgot about the Jokers, and they've all been amazing Jokers in their own rights. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoyed every single one's performance that we've had.
Correct. I like Leto. I think he was just stuck in a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like that's just what that is.
That wasn't his fault at all. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Just like I don't think it's Garfield's fault. Trash movie. He's not a bad actor though. But like, you know, if they and they're allowed to fail, like people that aren't people of color are allowed to fail. Like, you know, no matter how you feel about it, the Andrew Garfield movies failed. And if that were the case, you know, they wouldn't have another Spider-Man, you know, just because, and I don't know, Tobey Maguire probably could have played Spider-Man again around the Andrew Garfield time, simply because he looks like a child all the time. But he looks so young. I feel like he hasn't aged much since like his Spider-Man days. But I think that's like a real problem, that this is the only character that we've ever had this conversation for. Like, think about that. We've got 8 Batmans. We have 5 or 6 Supermans. We have 6 or 7 Jokers. We've had in-world MCU changes mid-franchise, and no one had issues. Nobody forgot about Terrence Howard. We remember Terrence Howard. We do. We remember Terrence Howard because Don Cheadle showed up all of a sudden, but it didn't break the bank. People did not go to see Avengers. They didn't do that. That's not what happened. They did that with the Hulk. Technically, his name escapes me just now.
Edward Norton.
Yeah, Norton's. He's canon. Like, he's canon MCU. That movie counts. Mark Ruffalo just took over, and everyone was all right with that. We're okay here. And I just feel like it's really very weird that, Black Panther, as, a Black leading superhero, gets subtraction and everybody else gets multiplication. Everybody else gets to add on to their legacy, where Chadwick Boseman worked through cancer to put this on the map. And you're going to tell me that you're going to put his death on screen for more profit? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Yo, can we talk about how this happened though? Because I feel, and if I don't, and Anita, you can let me know if you agree. Because I have to say, I feel the reason why why they didn't decide to do the change is because we as the POC community were so in our feelings about this that Hollywood saw if we don't listen and if we were to move on, it's going to look bad on us. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't want to catch the repercussions, the cancel back from us because we were so in our feelings about it. And I think we as a community still in our feelings, and you and I are, because it's a lot of us haven't spoken up about it. Some are feeling it. And you and I talked about this a little bit too when we were in that conversation, that we're afraid to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I kept on prefacing. I honestly love Chadwick Boseman. However, you know what I'm saying?
I am not afraid.
We got to come out of our feelings and move on. You know what I'm saying?
We have to. And honestly, it's not, just people of color. Everyone is like, oh, I love Chadwick. Oh, I love Chadwick. I'm like, could you imagine not having a Kavanaugh right now? That Snyderverse that y'all love so much, not happening. All of them have been recasted. Wouldn't exist if this was the conversation that we were having for them or anybody else.
So because of all of that, like I said, they didn't want to get canceled. They saw this as an easy way out. If we play it the wrong way, you know what I'm saying? We're going to look like the bad guy again. You know what I'm saying? Which you all are bad guys. Let's admit it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think we did ourselves in with this. We made it such a ruckus that, that's why they...
Well, see, I've been on the recast of T'Challa bandwagon for months, and a lot of people have. I just feel like people with bigger platforms, and I'm not going to say much more than that. People with bigger platforms who have interest in this are saying that they don't want it, and they don't look like they're not POC, is what I'm saying. They're not POC. And I feel like if they were to do that to the characters they love the most, we would never hear the end of it. And I feel like also cherry picking which bad thing that you're not going to do is also not, really a good look, because, there was so much backlash for Mulan. They did Mulan anyway. I really feel like it's a cherry picking on when we feel like we should listen to, the audience. And I love Marvel, and I do genuinely think Kevin Feige was a friend of Chadwick Boseman, and really does feel like he's doing the right thing. But considering that there's been, such a noise now to recast him, like on the actual news, not just, in the fandom pop sphere, but on national television about this, I feel like maybe they could look into it. It doesn't have to be right away. It could be Black Panther 3. It could be Black Panther 3. And with the multiverse coming up, it is so simple to say that when he was snapped back, they snapped back a different T'Challa. It is extremely simple. He never was unmasked, like, after that point.
I don't think so. That really is making it pointed that it's recast. You just...
I mean, like, there's so many options. I'm just giving you like an example of how
you. No, I get you. Can I add on something?
Yeah.
Because I was actually thinking about something in that sense, like how would they even go about something like that? And I think, are we all caught up on Loki, or at least the last couple episodes or anything?
I'm at 4, so I didn't watch today's.
You really only need to know the second episode for what I'm about to reference.
Okay, go ahead.
I think with variants being a thing now, who's to say they aren't going to introduce, because like with the whole timeline and everything being messed up with Loki and everything right now, who's to say like ruckus ain't gonna happen there? Characters can be like whoever because obviously like we're having more than one Loki right now, like all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. So it's like, um, who's to say they won't go down that road for Black Panther?
Right.
I'm not saying that's the
Right.
most appropriate way, or like I don't know what the most appropriate way to for them to even do something like
Mm.
this is, but it's like I definitely can see things being put in place from what they're putting out now to maybe like setting that up for later events. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think the multiverse makes the most sense because it happens in the comics. And a lot of people who are like, well, Shuri should be the Black Panther. I'm not opposed to Shuri being Black Panther. I'm just opposed to this Shuri being Black Panther. And
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that is Shuri hasn't had enough time to come into her character. Because even in the first movie, she opposes being the Black Panther, like right on screen. So to just put her in a suit, that seems like blatant. You're not caring about your character's development. Now, if you know, as she goes along in the movies, and we are getting, I think, a Wakanda Disney Plus show. I think we're also getting that. I'm not. I think if we're getting a Disney Plus show, maybe they'll be developed in the show, and then like when we get the movie, maybe it'll have like some type of resolution. But I still do feel like we're still doing a lot of thinking for Black Panther. We're doing a lot of thinking, and no one else did this kind of thinking. Like it was just like we're gonna recast them eventually,
Mm-hmm.
period. Because no one can ever imagine their pop world without Superman. No one can imagine their pop world without Spider-Man. It just doesn't happen. So for me, I really feel like the character, not the mantle, even if they want to give the mantle to Shuri,
Mm-hmm.
the character T'Challa is important
Which,
for
mm-hmm.
so many reasons. Black people, and specifically, to have someone so positive
Right.
in the front sphere, like we're finally in a place where we're not slaves or drug dealers or gang members. We're in this
Royalty.
really nice light, and I don't want that to end. Like, why it's like real world events, like killing your heroes, happening in my fiction. I don't want that in my fiction. That's the whole point of it, is to escape this. I don't want to bring death into my fiction. Why? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm really passionate about this, but I don't think it's good. And I don't think it's good for Black women as well, or Black girls, seeing how you're supposed to be treated by a Black strong man, and how that interaction looks like. Another thing that is poorly represented in media as well. So I just think that his character, for all of those reasons and more, should be recast. And I totally understand the emotional component. I do. Everyone felt that way when he passed,
Mm-hmm.
but no one ever said that we would never get a Joker again.
Right. I
So
think the only character I can really think of, I wouldn't say anybody would really has any like had any reaction like for this recast, obviously, but I think the only other character who I've seen any other uproar has been Logan. You guys think?
Wolverine, yeah.
Yeah, because no one knows what to do with him yet, and obviously he there's no type of uproar because there's no there's no like white people looking up to him or anything like that thinking where are we going to recast this next, but it's like I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought for a second, but yeah, no, I think that was my main point, is like kind of just adding on, I don't think there is any kind of uproar like there is for this, so I don't understand why there is even that kind of an issue.
Right, yeah.
It's
It's
weird.
weird. I feel like that it's happened for this character specifically. And another thing that I thought was, it was disappointing for me, just for me. We all know Falcon and Winter Soldier, loved it. It was great. Um, there was an interview that was done with Anthony Mackie, and they asked him this question: do you think T'Challa, Black Panther, should be recast? And he said that would be such a the baton. It would be such a hard mantle to put up. I was like, could you imagine someone saying that to you when you were supposed to be becoming Captain America? Could you imagine those words coming out of their mouth to you because you were picking up a mantle? And can you imagine, I'm like, what is it like? Are we all, is it in the water? Is it in the water? Like, are we drinking something that makes us think somehow that is just so different for this specific character? Even us, I'm like, you wouldn't even be Captain America if this wasn't the exact thing that you were doing, is taking over somebody's mantle. Your pay bump that everyone, got a good, laugh about, you wouldn't get that either. So there's a role that just no other Black actor, like, Marvel roles change lives. The moment you become a Marvel star, that your life is changed. Everything from there is just up. And you're saying that no one else can get that chance in Black Panther? It's just sad to me. That is a sad, sad thought to me. So, but I know I've been rambling for like 20 minutes, so we can move on. But I just wanted to give you the perspectives of why I think you should be recast.
I'm with you. Like I said, I completely agree with you. I said what I said, and I feel you in every way. We have to do some self-realization, because I think we as POCs kind of contributed to allowing to actually, I'll say it. We allowed white Hollywood to take Black Panther away from us. I honestly believe that. And we weren't vocal enough, or we were so passionate because we care so much and we love Chadwick so much that we allowed them to take him away from us.
It's hard to be mobile when you're in grief.
Yeah.
So it's no one's fault, but it's just, now that the cobwebs have cleared out, now that we can look at stuff with new lenses. Maybe, if we don't get it for Black Panther 2, maybe we can get it for Black Panther 3. Fingers crossed, because that's how you kill a legend, is if you don't talk about him, if he's not recast. Like, do you know who played the Bionic Man?
Yeah.
If you're under 30, excuse me.
Yeah. So let's keep it in that supernatural spirit. Let's keep the spirits moving, because I don't want to beat it, to keep on when we've already kind of, went a lot on it. And we have little time. So keeping spirits alive, keeping Chadwick Boseman's spirits alive. One of the topics I wanted to discuss was personal supernatural experiences. Again, I was reconnecting with Anita the other day, and we just got to talking, and that's how we kind of figure out some of the subjects for today. And I had brought up that I had got hit up to do some reviews for some upcoming horror films, and it reminded me that my wife hates horror films. I can't watch horror films around her. I have another friend, Glenn, who y'all know, who's on the channel. We do a lot of reviews. He's not a big horror fan either. And because I had all these horror films coming up, I'm like, man, who can I get to do stuff? And it just made me think about just personal horror stuff. And I don't know if there was something with a Ouija board that just came into play, what reminded me. And there was a film that was on called Ouija. Wasn't there a horror film called Ouija?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And my wife, if I was to ever bring in a Ouija board into the house, she would honestly fight me. She is not about that life. She ain't about spirits, messing around with spirits and all that. And so I proposed that question to Anita. I'm like, would you fuck around? Because I was also trying to think of cool things that we could do for this show and channel. And just now that we're opening up for, the world's opening up and we can get together. I've been plotting stuff with Anita because we're going to hopefully be linking up soon at a upcoming show. And I was like, you know what? I can't do a Ouija board in the house, but maybe I could do a Ouija board with Anita somewhere. And because my feelings on and this is going to lead into, the personal supernatural experiences, is my feeling with like ghosts and all that. I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm not like horror films don't scare me. They don't mess with me because I grew up on Thriller. And if you remember Michael Jackson's Thriller with the Romero zombies, or I forgot the guy that helped build the zombies for Dawn of the Dead, and as well as the Thriller zombies. But the making of Thriller was, along with seeing the music video, is like my favorite video of all time. But the making of Thriller with Vincent Price and John Landis, amazing filmmaker that was behind, I believe, E.T., and just all that behind the scenes action. When you see the making of, it made everything not scary for me. You know what I'm saying? Dawn of the Dead was the original Dawn of the Dead was no longer scary because I saw how they did it. And it made me fall in love with the craft of filmmaking. So like I saw it with a different lens, and it changed everything else going forward. That I'm not scared really with horror films. I'll get a little bit of a here and there, like a little wild hair will stick up or something. But at the end of the day, I know that's all filmmaking. So I like your slasher films don't scare me or anything like that. And so going on with the supernatural, like with Ouija boards, to me, like, I'm not afraid of ghosts because to me, I don't think I've done anything to offend a ghost. You know what I'm saying? And I always honor my spirits. I'm always about talking about the people that have passed with love. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't feel like any ghosts in my family would come back and try and haunt your boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not afraid with anything like that. And so to me, to pull a Ouija board out with a friend or whatever to honor, would just to pay respects and just bring your life back again. And so I got into that conversation with Anita, who then shared an amazing story, which I hope you share now, and then hopefully Rue as well. I'm curious, do y'all believe in ghosts? Do you have any supernatural experiences and all of that? Yeah, just all that paranormal kind of stuff. I grew up on Ghostbusters, loved it, and how they designed the ghosts in that. You know what I'm saying? So like, as a filmmaking fan, that kind of took away from the horror element side of it. That that stuff doesn't scare me. It's real shit, like with real people, psychotics, that's real talk. But like slashers, I ain't afraid of that stuff. And all that stuff is based on the actual villains that we should be scared of, because people are scarier than these quote unquote Freddy's and Jasons and all that, So
way worse.
Rude.
There you go.
I feel like you got.
There's my setup.
You got a story?
I have no stories because I feel like the way I believe in life, I don't attract that kind of supernatural energy, but I do have an explanation for what that energy is. I don't think ghosts are what ghosts really are. I think that whenever because us as human beings are so powerful, not just like because with the emotions and like everything that we produce, I feel like we're like a very interesting product of the universe, because we defy the laws of physics and all that kind of shit. So I also believe in a lot of interdimensional type of beliefs and stuff. So I do think that, the type of energy that we emit can be somewhat of a residue in like the places that we've been at in our lives. And I feel like the places where death occurs are very um not serious, but it's like there's a lot of energy that happens when death happens, so it's just like your body's basically leaving itself. So I feel like however you were when you died, whether you be a very toxic person or a very scared, like you're a serial killer or whatever like that, and you just die in your little basement that you do your dirt shit at, and then years later it's like a mini mall or something, or wherever, but it's like that energy stays there because it's like residue. And so what people may think is ghosts, I feel like, we're so strong, and if you have a very strong intuition, I guess, of just like energies and all that kind of shit. I sound like I sound like I read tarot cards right now.
It's all good though, man.
No, you know what I mean though. I don't know if it makes any sense, but this is how I see it, because I don't think it's somebody that
I feel you
dies
about energies. I think you can leave energy when you pass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. There's certain energies you feel good in certain places.
Yeah, and it kind of connects into what we're going to talk about next with my thing about keeping things. I'm going to keep it on the low. We're still talking about this, but it's just like things that you hold dear. You put energy into that. That's why when you bring it back up and you see it and it brings back there's this overwhelming feeling of this like energy source that is like fueling you in that moment. And I feel it's the same thing with just our souls, our essence. It's like you die in this one spot depending on how you are. Like if you're a really negative type of person, I feel like negativity tends to like just like dwell and sit there and just like, you know, it's in the room. Like whenever you see tension or you feel like people in the room hate each other, you feel it as soon as you walk in the room. You know what I mean? If that's the kind of person you are. So who's not to say it's the same thing when somebody dies and like that could be their quote unquote ghost in that area, you know? So that's my explanation with it all. Like I've never walked into a room, I've never looked into a mirror and then saw somebody that wasn't there. I ain't never hear nobody whisper to me, like. But I also may have never put myself in a situation where those
To see
energies
it.
are around. So there might be that. I've tried to go to abandoned churches and shit, but
I mean,
I know Tranquil got some stories probably.
well, okay, so I want to remark on the energy thing because I 100% feel or yeah, get the energy thing because I've traveled and I know Kuya has traveled quite a bit. If you've ever been to like let's say the Colosseum or the Vatican or the Pentagon, like there's so not the Pentagon, Pantheon, sorry, that
Hmm.
there's so much like history that's happened in those places that like for me when I went to some of those places I felt it, like I felt it the whole time I was in it. It was super surreal. Like I didn't see anything or anything like that, but like the moment I stepped in I felt like the weight of like what the place meant or what it still means or used to be. Because if you think about like the Colosseum and how many people died in the
Right.
Colosseum brutally, like horribly. That place has a certain type of gravitas to it, like in both good and bad ways, because I guess at the time that was the way of the world. It wasn't like there was anything opposing that way of the world. So I think it was pre Atlantic slave trade. So we didn't have the same like social constructs then as we do now. So it was really a really understanding energy thing. But the story I was telling Kuya was I went to school in Pittsburgh and I went to a majority girl school. And there was a story that I heard floating around, like it wasn't like a assembly and they told us about it, but like I just heard it from some administrator that a girl had killed herself on one of the floors in our school, maybe like in the 50s or 60s or something like that, something like that. And I was like, oh, well, wow, I was like, well, how did she do it? And they're like, it's by hanging. I was like, okay. So me being curious, which is so not like I should be, but me being curious, I was like, yeah, I'm young. What can happen? So I, go to the floor and I go to that side because that side of the hall, because like dorms have multiple like sides, whatever. So I'll go to that side and I realize that no one's living on that side of the hall. They have not they have not allowed students to be in like the last like maybe five or six rooms in that hallway. And I was like, well, that automatically made it creepy because now no one lives in this hallway. Two, it was raining, of course. And there was a singular window facing there. And I looked out the window. I didn't see anything at first. And then I looked and I saw a girl. I saw a girl. She looked at me. She was wearing a dress, which makes sense for like the 60s. Um, and it was frilly. And she didn't say anything. She didn't wave really. It was more like a rocky motion. And I was like, well, that might be, you know, just because it's windy outside. And like I left. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't really tell anyone because I was like, well, maybe it was just me seeing things because, you know, when you want to see something, sometimes your eyes or your brain plays tricks on you or whatever. But the part about the hanging I didn't find out until after I'd seen it. So the fact that I saw her hanging was what creeped me out. I was like, wait a second. How did I know that? Why would I know that? I know she died, but I didn't know she died at the window, like all of that stuff. So from that point on, I was like, well, I believe in everything. It works. You know, like if you can't unprove it, it's a possibility. You know, there's we've what like in 2020 alone, we've had like UFO sightings, right? And just what's at the bottom of the ocean? We have no idea. We have no idea. I've seen some pictures and it looks crazy. So, you know, I think that they're absolutely real. I don't think they're like the movies or anything like that, that they, you know, kill people or anything like that. But I do think that there might be some imprints left of certain people, especially if that death was traumatic.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Can
I
we
agree.
agree that anybody that people, because we've seen The Exorcist, like people think that, people can be, what is it, like, uh
Possessed.
possessed. Can we
Mhm.
agree that's mental illness? do we
I would
do we
Mental.
say
actually
so.
think
I would say so. A lot of that is
do we
mental
actually think
illness.
there's an entity entering another person? I think that might be a little schizophrenia.
I don't know if I would say possession, especially not in the way movies make possession. I
Yeah.
feel like maybe emboldened, maybe, but not possessed.
Maybe somebody with mental illness already, depending on how severe it is, could
Hmm.
be in that type of area where that quote unquote like energy from wherever that
Hmm.
was, and it can affect them in a way.
Hmm.
That could be a possibility, but I don't think it's straight up
Possession, yeah. I can move
possession.
your arms around and you do my bit.
Right.
Yeah, no, no.
I think when people claim that, it's because other people put that thought into their heads. So, like in a way, one of my questions I was going to ask you, Tranquil, was like, when did they tell you that story? So, like, I wonder if that was placed into your head and you kind of just envisioned it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It manifested uh, in you that you saw this person. It might have been real, might have been not, or they placed that thought into your head, because people can do that. And y'all know I work for the government. There's been
Mm.
different ways that we can put into people's heads and make them feel a certain way and get a certain
Oh,
response or action. That's a
absolutely.
Definitely.
common thing that we
I
do.
would, let's see, I would say no, only because I feel like I've been pushed to believe a lot of different things in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in what I just don't believe in. You know, like, I can't really
Gotcha.
be made to, you know. So I I feel like I went because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose. Like I was
But
just
how soon did you learn that story and then you went and did that action?
like almost immediately, like the
So
next day,
I think it.
like the
Just
next
saying.
day.
Just
No,
saying. It
it
might
could
not have
be.
happened that way, but
Yeah.
would y'all agree though that certain people can put a
Oh.
thought into your head, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden it manifests for yourself?
Oh,
Yeah, we're
absolutely.
we're all
Absolutely.
capable of being conditioned. That's
Mhm.
Exactly.
kind of like
Exactly.
that's what humans do. We do it to the animals, we cattle.
Everything.
Everything is able to be conditioned into a
Mhm.
way,
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, absolutely. I don't know if one can condition someone with one conversation. I mean, I don't think
It
that's
takes
how can.
time, I feel like,
Right,
over.
but there wasn't any. I feel like I found out about it. I was like, that's interesting. I'm gonna go check out the floor. Like they were like someone killed themselves on this floor, and I went and checked it out, and then I found out that it was hanging, and I was like, I did see her hanging. Like that was what I saw. Now it it could be real, it could not be real. Either way, it didn't affect me. You know what I mean? Like either way, if it's real or if it's not, no harm either way. You know, it didn't, come at me and all of a sudden things are different in the world.
Right.
But I do believe I saw what I saw. Especially considering that I've gone to haunted houses, and and not like haunted houses like, theme park haunted houses, but like actual haunted houses, like abandoned places up in woods and stuff. And, lots of bad things have happened there, and I've never seen anything there either. So I feel like, you know, it could have just been that one time, or it could have not
Yeah.
been real. Either way,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being real.
I think you might also have to be a certain kind of person that attracts that, if anything.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because I was on a show last year before, like pre-pandemic, and then a little during pandemic,
Mhm.
and we shot at an abandoned mental asylum
Mhm.
for all day, and then for a couple of days we shot overnight at a pretty famous Hollywood cemetery.
Mhm.
Nothing. I didn't feel nothing. I felt comfortable. I don't feel any type of shift, and it's amazing to see those type of places and stuff, and to see what like I cemeteries really interest me, just because of like the whole thing. But
Mm.
no, like I really think you might have to be a kind of person that feels that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh yeah, sure. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think also too, it's like in this era, we're so, how do you put it? We'll put we're so used to logic being able to explain everything, science to be
Yeah.
able to explain everything, right? But if you've ever talked to anyone who's in these fields, they'll tell you how much they know they don't know. Literally, they'll tell you that we think it's this. It's very rare where science is actually concrete. And that's the kind of funny thing about it to me. Think about it, if we never found dinosaur bones. And then someone told us one day that dinosaurs used to exist, but we've never had any record of it. No one's ever seen one. And you show me a picture of this pterodactyl or this T-Rex, I am going to be like, you're crazy. But then when you see the bones, like you imagine, like we're in this era where we can believe that things exist because of all this technology. If we back up 100 years, 200 years before there was all this science going on, everything probably felt like how this ghost story feels. That is magic, that is mythical, or I don't believe it could possibly exist. But now we know dinosaurs actually exist. So I feel like it's really based on like the age you're in and what you can and cannot prove.
For sure.
So that's just how I feel about it. But I think like maybe it's because I just want magic to be real, low key, like just a little bit. I
Who's to
think
say
that's
it's
what it
not
is.
though? You know,
Huh?
like who's to say it's not?
That's what
Like
I'm saying. Like I told you, I believe in everything. Why not? And
magic
I'm
could just be seen as science.
right.
We interpret it differently.
Right,
You know.
exactly. I mean, shoot, let me tell you, if I ever found out somebody can like do magic, I'm first going to slap them from holding out on me, and then I'm going to learn it.
Oh
Look,
man.
Kuya, go ahead and let him know your story. You have any other stories?
Oh no, no, no.
Mhm.
I kicked it off. Yeah, like I said, I didn't
Okay.
experience it, but I believe in it and I'm not afraid of it.
Of
And
it.
so I guess we'll tell him, Anita, what we did. We did pull out a Ouija board not too far from Howard University, and Chadwick Boseman said, "Go ahead and recast." I'm playing.
Yeah,
I'm playing.
I
Oh
like it.
But
I
I
like it.
feel Chadwick, I personally feel honestly that Chadwick would agree, you know what I'm saying, to continue on with that role.
Yeah,
I believe
I'd
he,
agree.
as an actor, as a person, for
Absolutely.
he knows the spirit of that character and how important it is. And
Right.
I
For
just
sure.
honestly believe that,
And his brother said that he would want to see him in it too. I'm like, if that's not a sign on the to do it, I don't know what it.
So just saying. But nah, we didn't really do that. But Anita and I will be pulling out a Ouija board somewhere. I just can't tell my wife that I did it.
Do it.
All right, Rue,
All
what
right.
do you got to talk about this week, man?
Oh,
All right, before we actually get into my topic real quick to close it out because it's a more of a sentimental one. I just wanted to ask a question because we were on the topic of ghosts and you guys discussed Ghostbusters for a brief moment. Female Ghostbusters with Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones. How do we feel about it? Because I'm being real right now. The director's cut of that movie is my favorite Ghostbusters movie.
Oh,
I'm
snap.
not playing. I love Leslie Jones. I'm a big Leslie Jones and
I
Melissa
love me some
McCarthy
Leslie Jones.
fan.
She's
I do
amazing.
love Leslie.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
She's great. I think I haven't seen the director's cut, so I couldn't tell you about that. But um, I think the movie was pretty good. I just think that all the hype, around it kind of soured it a little bit, for me, because it was just like I don't know, like everyone has had such a big problem with the fact that the Ghostbusters were girls. That like it just kind of like turned me off of the whole situation when it first went down. But I'll have to check out the director's cut to see.
There's just a lot of more funny jokes and everything, especially with the whole Leslie Jones and Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like, they have their more interactions and stuff, and it's just really funny. But yeah, I did get that a lot too from friends with the whole. I don't understand why it was a problem for the whole like women's thing. I actually personally think it was written pretty well,
Mhm.
and they were actually like setting up for what is that guy the name Za or something like that.
Yeah. It's at the tip of my tongue. I know who you talk about, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, no, that I was just really excited for that. And when I heard they pulled the plug and then canceled the plans for the franchise and everything, I was actually pretty bummed out. But, I still have that little gem that I got on my Amazon Prime. So I'm
That's
cool.
good. That's good.
Anyway, okay, so this topic for today. I was going through my storage recently
Oh, I didn't give
and
my opinion on it.
all right, go, go, go.
Oh,
You're
Damn.
right. You're right. You're right.
Damn.
You're right.
What?
I'm sorry.
Yo, no, I didn't see the director's cut, but I do own it. I just remembered I picked up the Blu-ray director's cut, but I didn't get around to watching it. I did see the original film in theaters, and I enjoyed it. And actually,
Great.
what pissed me off is it was the we all know the people that the trolls that were talking the shit, and as soon as they said it was going to be a female Ghostbusters, they were ready to talk shit about it because you can't please everybody, and then you got people that are hating that we're making minorities in the forefront, we're putting women in the forefront. So those cats were going to come out in full force. So I was like, middle finger to all y'all bitches, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you want your Ghostbusters, we still have the original Ghostbusters that you can still tune in and watch. The movies are still there. You know what I'm saying? I believe that with every property nowadays. If people have a certain story they want to tell, they get the rights to do the property. Let them do the thing. You can like it or not. And if you don't like it, there's the original content that you could always go back to. So fuck all y'all. So anyway,
they still made it. There was homage to him. They had Bill Murray in it.
Oh, I know, and that's what. So, but you're not gonna please those motherfuckers, and you know what? And that's what you gotta say at the end of the day. Fuck y'all. We're just gonna make our movie. You dig it or not? And for me, I dug it. I thought it was great, and like you, Rue, I wish they could have done more with that, with those characters because I thought they were great, and it was a lot of fun. So with you saying that the director's cut gives you a lot more, I'm definitely gonna have to pull that out this weekend and watch it because I enjoyed it. My wife that year when it dropped, I bought my wife and daughter those particular female Ghostbusters costumes. I had the original male Ghostbusters costume.
I remember that.
We rocked it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we had a lot of fun, man. I got my daughter the action figures of the female Ghostbusters. I bought her all of them, and we were just Ghostbusting family, man. And so we're a Ghostbusters family. I love both iterations. I'm really looking forward to the Paul Rudd version now that we're gonna get because now that I guess they kind of. They're not really exactly rebooting it. They're kind of going back to it, but like years down the line, from what I understand, with how the storyline is going to work, because they find the old Ecto one in like a what do you call it?
Barn or something. Yeah.
Barn, yeah. They find it like a barn, so it's like years after, from what I understand. So I'm curious how that's all going to work. But I would love to see both iterations, and I'm sad like you that we didn't get to see Leslie. I'm forgetting the rest of the cast now. Just them just Kristen do their thing because it was a great cast. But fucking trolls won out, and hopefully, again with time, that mindset will erase, and we can all ghost bust together. Male, female, whatever you call yourself.
Yeah.
Non-binary. Let's all show up and all be ghost busting. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Who you gonna call? Yes.
Who you? You know what I'm saying? So there you go, Rue. Thank you for letting me say my piece.
I'm sorry on that one.
It's all good.
It went over my head. But okay, this topic, like I said, I was going through my storage earlier this past weekend, and just going through, found my pre-K box or whatever, ages 3 through 6, and
nice.
I just I found a couple costumes. I was really big into Barney, because that's my generation, I guess. I was a Barney one year. I was Shrek the next. So it's really cool just seeing these type of things we hold on to as we get older, because everyone has nostalgia, and we all keep certain things. I feel like, well, most of us do anyway, that we hold close, whether it be our childhood or something that someone gave us that's dear to us and isn't here anymore. Like, I was just wanted to know, like, what y'all's, like, if you guys hold in anything that is from your past that like holds great sentimental value to you.
Go ahead, Tranquil. I'll let you go. You go.
I had to think about it. You go ahead. I know you have more.
Well, if y'all are still thinking, I'll just keep saying what I found in this box. I think that's really funny of like what I found as a kid, like as the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I
I
like it.
found I found this thing that you had to color, and it had this weird velvet. Like basically you colored, but all the outside images were like velvet.
Oh,
So it was a weird texture type of
that's
thing.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason I wanted Spider-Man to be rainbow. So I was on Pride way before that.
I'm waiting before that. You loved
Well,
it.
yo, I'm gonna grab
But
mine. Mine's over here real quick, so I'm gonna have to go grab it real quick. I need to get something. I'll be right back.
okay, do your
Okay.
thing. He has the same thing I'm probably talking about because he loves
Probably.
Spidey so much. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's got all the Spidey stuff. All the Spidey
oh, I
stuff.
know. I remember the first time when we met, he gave me a little. He's like, "Let me switch my Zoom to iPhone," and then he gave me a whole tour of his crib. I was like, I
Oh,
just need to come over and
it's
see.
great. It's a great place. I
I
feel like
know.
I'm in a great place. I'm like, oh man. And then I'm like, man, I need to get this because this is I want this for me too.
For real, it's
So,
goals right there.
but
But yeah.
I
Other than
mean, I
that,
feel like I keep stuff, but I can't think of like one specific thing. But okay, you're back while
I'm
I
back. I'm
think.
back. I was listening. I was still listening to y'all. Go ahead. If you're still talking.
No,
you don't
I
keep
was,
like
I was
a
still
like a
thinking. I was
teddy
like, what?
bear, not a satchel, but like a what is it? A blanket or anything you guys kept from like
Uh,
I got a lot of different things, as y'all know and
I was about to
see.
say, I was
You
like,
know what
you
I'm
the most
saying?
sentimental person in the chat
uh-huh.
right now.
And you and like I think I overheard you were saying how like when one time I was kind of giving you a virtual tour
Like
of
when
my
we
house, and
first met, like
Tranquil's
when we all
been,
first met, actually, I think,
yeah,
and it was before we
yeah.
were waiting. Yeah,
So Tranquil's been, and you know what I got. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
You
coming.
seen some
I'm
of the deal.
coming.
But with all
Uh-huh.
that being said, and that you still see behind me, there's one very important piece to me that I'm about to show y'all that I don't think I really pointed out all the other times. Um, it was something I carried with me to school every day because it held the contents of my lunch. But it's so special because it featured my favorite superheroes, and it inspired my creativity because I would carry it every day. And as a young artist as well, I would look at it and draw. And it's this right here, this
That's
metal
awesome.
That still got the
lunchbox.
thermos.
Yeah, by Thermos. It was, yeah. What year is this? Was this made? But it's 1980, 1980, and it's kind of like three-dimensional. You can kind of see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can
But
see.
see Spider-Man and Hulk. On the other side
Amazing.
is Captain America, and even on the
Amazing.
sides it has all this
Uh-huh.
original, all this art, from these greats. And I would look at this every day and draw. And then actually, if you look here, you can see grade 4. My mom taped it.
Oh
I never
wow.
took the tape off, but
That's
from grade,
amazing.
I think it was grade 3, 4, all the way up until I was old enough to not hold a lunchbox, that I use this. And even then still, I
Oh,
still have the original
yay.
thermos in
We
here.
love a thermos. That's
That's
so great.
Oh, actually, yeah. Well,
awesome.
thermal bottle by Aladdin. Actually, it's I guess
Huh.
this preceded thermos, but it says thermal bottle, so I guess Aladdin was the company that made
Maybe,
this.
yeah.
That's
But
so crazy. That's a collector's
this,
item for
if
It
my
sure.
if my
is.
house was on fire, and I could only grab one thing out of my studio, and y'all seen and y'all know, Tranquil, you've been, this would be the thing I would grab because it
Interesting.
means
That's
that
awesome
much.
though.
It means that
That's
much. This
awesome.
is the birth of all the creativity that that I've put out into the world. I without this, I wouldn't have created half the shit I've done, because it inspired all those dreams, man. So
That's
Hell yeah.
dope.
yeah.
Well, thank you for
That's
sharing.
dope.
That's awesome.
Now I love this topic, man, because that's real shit. I think there's certain
I-
things that have that energy, that that positive energy, or that weird energy when we're talking about supernatural shit
Right.
that has bad energy, but this stuff inspires.
it-
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I mean, I know that sounds real sad. I feel like I have things that I've kept, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know if there's something that I could think of, like, even right off the bat, that like, if I only had one thing to grab, it would be, this thing. Honestly, as long as everyone in the house was good, I would be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Just kind
I
of transition over material as
Yeah,
Yeah.
well. You know what I'm saying?
I think honestly, oh well, I don't know if I told you this, Kuya, but my house caught on fire as a teenager, and so most of my stuff went away,
Mm.
and I had to live in a hotel for a little while. It was a whole thing, and I think from then on, I was less attached to
Oh, I
like
can
material
completely
things.
understand that.
I could
Yeah.
see why for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just like I could lose it again. It could be, any reason, or for any reason. But like there are absolutely things that had survived the fire that I still have. Um, Something really sappy. In high school, I had a Navy boyfriend, and I used to write to him in while he was in basic training. And I have all of those letters still from basic training. It was like my first big, like, oh, I'm in love, da, da, da. I'm so
These damn
happy.
Navy guys.
Yeah, Navy guys. And I just, I was like, oh, this is like the movies where you write to the guy and he goes off to war. Like it's just
I was
like the
about to say it
movies.
sounds like Greece.
And I kept all like things like that I have. We're still friends. We're not, that was a long time ago, but I still have things like that. But I don't have any like one thing that I can think of them just like I have to
I feel you.
have. I like as long as I have my family, I'm good.
I feel that. I feel that.
I, I think. Do I have anything? Because a lot of stuff is a lot of stuff is in storage, but
Mhm.
because I live with my lady right now. But if there was anything that I would grab and because things were on fire, it'd have to be my PS4. No, I'm just kidding. I I got this picture of my me and my grandmother
um,
from New Year's Eve '06, and it's funny because it was in like one of those like places you don't really look at for a whole lot. And I told y'all last time we got together about like her passing and all that type of stuff. um a week before she passed, I actually rediscovered that portrait or whatever, that little thing I had, and that goes with me wherever I go now. So I guess
mhm.
that's one thing. If things were falling apart or fire, that's my thing.
I didn't think about pictures. I didn't think about pictures. I would probably grab a picture of my dad because my dad isn't here anymore.
For sure.
I feel that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
but
tell
that's
you,
it.
that's funny y'all say that. One thing that's really killing me right now uh, is I have this I have a bunch of external hard drives, because now everything is digital pictures,
Mhm.
everything we do. And this particular drive right here used to be in a case, and I used to, just quick plug in, how we always have these externals that you just
Hmm.
plug and play. But it stopped spinning, it stopped working. So I took the hard drive out of the case and I bought another device to put it in, and it's still not showing. And it's killing me
Mhm.
because this has all my daughter's birth pictures, videos. I have some of them printed out and I have them on a couple of other drives, certain ones, and I have stuff
Yeah.
uploaded to Facebook and stuff. But like all the real raw data is on this fucking hard drive.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna have to, because like I said, I pulled it. I bought this one external. I'm contemplating buying another external to plug it into, see if that'll work. Because when I first put it into that external, it showed up and I was able to take off a couple of pictures, but then it
Mhm.
like phased out. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? That should be
Hmm.
charging it now. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
try another device, but if that doesn't, I'm gonna have to send this 4
somewhere
terabyte drive to a professional. And I don't know if
Right.
y'all know how much it costs to get data
a
recovery
lot.
for 4 terabytes. I'm probably gonna be spending a couple G's, and I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
fucking do it. I'm gonna have to fucking eat it because it's so important, man.
Yep.
Just
it's
And
funny that
then
all
you
the
say
pictures
some.
and
that
video that are on
because
this thing right now.
my original, Patrick, that my Facebook got hacked
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, and so all of my a good chunk of my Japan pictures, when I was living there, when I was living in Italy, a lot of those were on Facebook. And so I lost all of those. And I think it's because like of those losses is why I'm like, the
Yeah.
attachment thing is hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. I just like, do I have the people? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear you.
You know.
And it's so hard when when we're not forced, but when we're so used to digitizing all of our memories because we can now, you know?
Mhm.
Like I remember growing up with like books on books on books just
Oh yeah.
filled, or just even the ones that didn't make it to the books, but it was still in the paper from whenever you got it from like
Yeah.
the Kodak or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, cause
I
I don't
still
know.
have film I haven't developed.
Oh yeah, no, like they're
Yeah.
still around and stuff, but it's crazy to think that that's not how we accumulate our memories anymore from like
Yeah.
these physical copies,
Yeah.
which
I
there
low key missed that.
I do too,
Yeah.
because it's more of and it's the same thing with reading books, I feel like, where it's like you get a different feeling from reading an actual physical book than you do listening to an audiobook or reading something on your screen. You know what I mean? Like I feel like us as people, we have a real thing with like actual physical thing, like because the same thing with the energy from earlier is like we put our energy and our memories into these things that we make. And once you make it into a thing that, you know, because you can take thousands on thousands of pictures on your iPhone and they never go through them. I know I do. You know, I'll
Mhm.
screenshot something, I never go back to it. And
Mhm.
it's just like I don't think we used to be like that whenever, because a
No.
photo for one used to be expensive. You
Yeah.
know, you had to pay to actually do it. Now it's just free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You pay for space if anything, but
Right.
um yeah, like I don't know if whoever, you know, makes these products like knew this was what life was going to be, but I think this is the reason why I have such a hard time progressing with things sometimes, because I really do connect with how we did things 20-ish years ago. And then it's just like, oh, I didn't get to grow up the way I wasn't the age I'd like to be around that where I'm comfortable. Because when you're a little kid and you're just around that kind of shit, when you know, oh, I would have had way much more fun if I didn't have to have like if I didn't have to worry about an Instagram to post on or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like
I
just
mean,
things like that, you know? And so it's simple, like just pictures, because pictures now are something we use as commodity, I feel like, on
Mm.
social medias and stuff. We don't even
mhm.
think of pictures as something we do as, I mean, most of us probably still do, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
I
an,
mean,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
think. I mean, when I saw Wally, I was scared of that because I'm like, we're headed there. But like,
We are.
I feel like it's a combination of things. Like technology, like I was talking about before, technology used to move real slow. It didn't used to be, as fast as it is now. And now, especially in the Western world, like living in Italy was like it's something I got used to, but it took a lot for me to get used to it because they'd have siestas. Like you thought that was a joke. No, no, no. They have real siestas in the middle of the day. Things just shut down for like 3 hours. And as someone from the West, that you're like, wait a minute, you're shutting down between 12 and 3. Are you insane? Like that would not be something that goes down here. You can't no. And then when you come back at 3, you close at 8. Like that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But there I had to get used to not doing something, which is insane to have to get used to doing. And I was young, super young, like, but I was like antsy in my pants trying to figure out what to do for these 3 hours that nothing was open except for being in my house. But you learn, and then you learn when you go back to the West, you're like, oh, I missed those 3 hours in the middle of the day. I missed that downtime. Also, we're kind of like a little bit in a way, I feel like with hard copies of things, our legacies last a little longer. So, people who paint, people who do art, I feel like still have the thing going on because it's like, hey, this painting can outlive you. And in 20 years, this painting is going to be worth $20 million, and everybody's going to know who Rue is in 20 years because he made this beautiful painting, right?
Hmm.
So I agree. There's a lot of things that we miss with digital, like the digital world. And like as a millennial, I feel like I watched it all happen at one time. Like I was born, and for like the first few years of my life, like up until I was like 12, like 11 or 12, no cell phones, no like computers, like at home computers anyway. You went
Right.
to the library to do your homework. And then by the time I got to high school, everything changed. Everyone had a computer in the house. Everyone had cell phones. Everyone could burn CDs, iPads, laptops. It all happened in like 20 years, I feel like. So I feel you, but I think once I have kids, it'll change because I'm
Maybe.
gonna want to keep stuff of theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I see that happening. I
Mm.
think that's how Kuya could probably attest to. That's probably how it is.
Yeah, we have some crates of Madison's baby stuff. Certain things
Yeah.
we're keeping, definitely. Some stuff that's already kind of boxed up and framed up, especially ballet stuff. We have up
Yeah.
on our
Uh,
walls that are her little original kind of shoes. That, yeah, yeah.
I live my little ballet dreams through
Oh yeah,
Madison. That's what I do. I'm always so excited when I see her
yeah,
post her ballet because ballet has changed so much since when I was in ballet.
yeah.
Like the fact that you can get like slippers and skin tones now, it's so
Oh yeah.
inclusive now. It's so nice now. I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
it's not just
man. I'm
tutus anymore.
and I enjoy every moment of it. Like she's my little kid, that's not my kid. I like
No worries. All right, y'all.
Right.
Another great something or nothing.
yeah.
It
Black
was
Panther
fun this one for
casting,
sure.
supernatural spirits, and personal mementos,
Mhm.
and just all of that. I love this energy this episode. So a
Me
lot of
too.
amazing sharing going on. Before we sign out, you know what we do. Let them know how they can reach out to us. Any suggestions we can do for future episodes or just anything else in between. Let us know.
Tranquil, ladies
Tranquil,
first.
hit us up. Let us know.
Well, Tranquil Lashes on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch soon, and TikTok soon. I'm trying to get with a program, I guess. So all of that good stuff. My podcast, Dark Fantasies, on Tuesdays at 10 on Twitch. Same name, Dark Fantasies. You'll find us there. And that's about it. Go ahead, Rue.
Y'all know I'm working my ass off with this new gig of mine, but
Get
I'm
paid,
not
bro. Get
quitting
paid.
these content creator dreams. I got another podcast for my other podcast with my boy Mike, the Open Mic podcast, coming out this Friday, July 9th. You can get that on Spotify or anywhere that podcasts are played. You can check me out on Instagram and Twitter as of right now at Roohkage. Everyone calls me Roohkage, so I'm just starting to get used to it. But it's ROOHKAGE. And yeah, just stay up to date with me. Hopefully, once I get into the groove of this new job and everything, like I said, I definitely still want to keep pushing more stuff out. And I just love these two here that I'm with because it gives me a chance to really still like, show that creative side or just get my takeout, because my girl ain't hearing that.
Definitely, man. Well, I look forward to it. I actually got something I want you to stay on before we sign off that I want to talk to you
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
because I want to try and get you on that. Your boy Kuya P. You can follow me at Strange Since 1977 as well as at Temple Far East. One of those is Twitter, one of those is IG. Also at the Nerds of Color, where we give you POC perspective within pulp culture, and as well as my show pal show highlighting the Philippine X, killing it. And of course, here at the NRW at Nerd Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. Your boy Kuya P. Rue, Tranquil Ashes, something or nothing in the can. Out of here.
So, y'all.
Boom, you like that hosting voice right there at the end.
I'm about to say that's your radio